When Vanessa Montgomery walked into that Chicago courtroom, her hands were shaking so badly she could barely hold her folder of documents. Her son Marcus was having seizures almost every day. The medicine he desperately needed cost $300,000 a year. And her ex-husband, a basketball superstar worth hundreds of millions, had just told her to manage her money better. But Vanessa had discovered something that would change everything. Her ex-husband Derek had been lying. During their divorce 2 years earlier, he'd hidden $50 million in secret bank accounts. $50 million that should have been hers. And now she was taking him back to court to fight for what was rightfully hers and save her son's life. The media called her a gold digger. Strangers sent her death threats. Even her own daughter came home from school crying because kids were saying terrible things about her mother. Derek's lawyers were the best money could buy, and they were ready to destroy her in court. When Judge Patricia Chen finally spoke, the courtroom went completely silent. Vanessa held her breath, waiting for the words that would decide her children's entire future. The judge looked at Derek, then at Vanessa, and said something no one expected. What happened next left Vanessa in tears. But were they tears of defeat or something completely different? Stay with us to find out what Judge Chen said that shocked everyone in that courtroom and changed Vanessa's life forever. This is a story about a mother's love, a hidden fortune, and a judge who wasn't afraid to deliver real justice. Vanessa Montgomery's hands wouldn't stop shaking. She stood in the marble hallway of the Chicago courthouse, clutching a worn manila folder against her chest like a shield. Inside were bank statements, medical bills, and proof that her ex-husband had lied to her. Proof that she hoped would change everything. "Vanessa, we need to go in." Roger Whitmore touched her elbow gently. Her attorney had kind eyes behind his silver-rimmed glasses. He'd taken her case when 3 other lawyers had turned her away. "Too risky," they'd all said. "Derek Montgomery has too much power." But Roger believed her. That meant everything. "I'm scared," Vanessa whispered. Her voice barely carried over the echo of footsteps in the busy hallway. Lawyers in expensive suits rushed past. None of them looked at her. She was invisible here. Just another woman fighting a losing battle. "I know you are." Roger squeezed her arm. "But remember why we're here. Remember Marcus." Marcus, her 6-year-old son, her baby boy who'd had another seizure last Tuesday. She'd held him on the bathroom floor, counting the seconds until it stopped, praying like she'd never prayed before. The doctors said the new treatment could help. It could give him a normal life. It cost $300,000 a year. Money she didn't have. Money her ex-husband refused to give her. "Judge Chen is fair," Roger continued. "She'll see the truth in those documents. She'll see what Derek did." Vanessa nodded, but doubt gnawed at her stomach. Derek had the best lawyers money could buy. He had fame, fans, and a face that sold everything from sneakers to sports drinks. He was the golden boy of basketball, the man everyone called the next Michael Jordan. What was she? A nurse who lived in a 3-bedroom rental, a divorced single mother who bought her dress at Target. The courtroom doors loomed ahead, tall, dark oak that looked like they weighed 1,000 pounds. "Mrs. Montgomery?" A young clerk poked his head out. "Judge Chen is ready for you." This was it. Vanessa's mind flashed to 5 years ago, her wedding day. Derek had cried when she walked down the aisle. "You're my everything," he'd whispered when they kissed. "I'll never let you down." But he had, in the worst possible way. She thought about the night she'd found the hotel receipts, the late-night phone calls he'd hidden, the woman with yellow hair who'd given her daughter candy and smiled like she'd already won. She thought about signing the divorce papers with tears streaming down her face. $4 million, the settlement had said. It seemed like so much money then. Enough to start over. Enough to build a life. But it wasn't enough to save Marcus. "Vanessa?" Roger's voice pulled her back to the present. "Are you ready?" No, she would never be ready. But ready didn't matter anymore. "My babies need this," she whispered, more to herself than to Roger. She pictured Lily and Marcus at home with her mother. Lily had asked this morning why Mommy looked so sad. Vanessa had kissed her forehead and lied. "Mommy's fine, sweetheart. Everything's going to be fine." She prayed that wouldn't be another lie. Roger pulled open the heavy door. The courtroom spread before her like an arena. Wooden benches lined both sides. The judge's bench sat high at the front, empty for now. Everything smelled like old books and lemon polish. And there, at the defendant's table, sat Derek. Her ex-husband looked perfect, as always. His suit probably cost more than her monthly rent. His lawyer, Nathan Pierce, sat beside him, shuffling papers with confident, practiced movements. Derek didn't look at her. He stared straight ahead, his jaw tight. Sienna sat in the front row behind him, the woman with yellow hair, Derek's new wife. She wore diamonds that caught the light. Vanessa's throat tightened. She wanted to run. She wanted to grab her children and disappear somewhere Derek and his money and his lawyers could never find them. But running wouldn't cure Marcus. Running wouldn't pay for the medicine he needed to live a normal life. So Vanessa walked forward on shaking legs. She sat at the plaintiff's table beside Roger. The chair felt too hard. Everything felt wrong. "All rise!" The bailiff's voice boomed through the courtroom. "The Honorable Judge Patricia Chen presiding." Everyone stood. Vanessa's knees nearly buckled. Judge Chen entered. A small woman with sharp eyes and silver hair pulled into a tight bun. She looked at Vanessa, then at Derek, then at the files on her desk. "Please be seated," Judge Chen said. Vanessa sat. Her heart pounded so loud she was sure everyone could hear it. Judge Chen opened the top file. Case number 2024 DR 8847. Montgomery versus Montgomery. Post-divorce financial dispute. She looked up. "We're here because Mrs. Montgomery is requesting additional financial compensation based on newly discovered evidence. Is that correct?" Roger stood. "Yes, Your Honor." "Very well." Judge Chen's expression revealed nothing. "Let's begin." Vanessa closed her eyes for just a second. She sent up one more prayer. "Please, please let this work." Because in exactly 2 hours, Judge Patricia Chen would say words that would bring Vanessa to tears. But sitting in that courtroom, watching the judge's unreadable face, Vanessa had no idea that those tears would be ones she never expected. No idea that everything was about to change. 7 years earlier, Derek Montgomery had been nobody special. Just another tall kid from Gary, Indiana, shooting hoops on a cracked outdoor court where weeds pushed through the concrete. The rim had no net. The backboard was covered in graffiti. But Derek didn't care. When he had a basketball in his hands, the whole world made sense. "Boy, get in here and eat," his grandmother called from the small house behind the court. Grandma Rosa had raised Derek since he was 9 years old. Since the night the police knocked on her door and told her that her daughter and son-in-law had died in a car accident on Interstate 65. Derek had cried for months. Then one day, Grandma Rosa brought home a basketball from the Goodwill store. "Your daddy loved this game," she'd said, putting it in his small hands. "Maybe it'll help you feel close to him." She was right. Basketball saved Derek's life. By the time Derek turned 16, college scouts filled the bleachers at his high school games. He was 6'7", with hands that could palm a basketball like it was an orange. But what really set Derek apart was his heart. He played like every game might be his last. Like he had something to prove. "That kid has it," someone said during a charity game in Chicago when Derek was 17. Derek didn't know who'd spoken until halftime, when a man in an expensive suit approached him in the locker room. The man had kind eyes and a smile Derek recognized from 1,000 posters and commercials. "Michael Jordan." "I've been watching you play," Michael said, shaking Derek's hand. "You've got raw talent. More importantly, you've got hunger. That's what separates good players from great ones." Derek could barely speak. "Thank you, sir." Michael laughed. "Don't call me sir. Makes me feel old." He pulled out a business card. "Stay focused, work hard, and when you're ready for the NBA, give me a call. The Bulls could use someone with your fire." Derek kept that card in his wallet every single day. 3 years later, when he declared for the NBA draft, the Chicago Bulls selected him with the 8th pick. His signing bonus was more money than Grandma Rosa had earned in her entire life. Derek bought her a house with a porch swing and paid off every bill she'd ever had. She cried so hard she couldn't breathe. "Your parents would be so proud," she whispered, holding his face in her weathered hands. Derek hoped that was true. He hoped his dad was watching from somewhere, seeing his son live the dream he'd never gotten to chase. The first person Derek called after signing his contract was Michael Jordan. "I told you," Michael said with a laugh. "Welcome to the big leagues, kid. Now the real work begins." Michael became more than a mentor. He became like a second father. He taught Derek about investments, about handling fame, about the pressure that came with being in the spotlight. "Stay humble," Michael advised. "Remember where you came from, and find yourself a good woman who loves you for who you are, not what you have." Derek met that woman 3 months later. Northwestern University was hosting a charity event where Derek was supposed to sign autographs and pose for pictures. He hated these events, all the fake smiles and people who wanted something from him. He was counting the minutes until he could leave when a young woman walked past his table without even glancing at him. She wore scrubs and sneakers. Her dark hair was pulled back in a messy ponytail. She looked exhausted and beautiful, and completely uninterested in the celebrity basketball player sitting 10 feet away. Derek was intrigued. "Excuse me," he called out. "Miss?" She turned, looking confused. "Are you talking to me?" "Yeah. Would you like an autograph? A picture?" She blinked at him. "Why would I want that?" Derek laughed. He couldn't remember the last time someone didn't know who he was. "I'm Derek Montgomery. I play for the Bulls." "Oh," she smiled politely. "That's nice. I don't really follow basketball. I'm Vanessa. I'm late for my shift at the hospital." She gave a little wave and hurried off. Derek watched her go, completely captivated. He found out she was a nursing student. He showed up at the hospital the next day with coffee and flowers. "You're persistent," Vanessa said, but she was smiling. "I just want to take you to dinner," Derek said. "One dinner. If you hate it, I'll never bother you again." She studied his face. "Why me?" "I'm sure you have dozens of women throwing themselves at you." "Because you didn't," Derek said simply. "Because you looked at me like I was just a regular person. Do you know how rare that is?" Vanessa agreed to dinner, then another, then another. She didn't care about his fame or his money. She laughed at his terrible jokes. She challenged him when he was being stubborn. She made him feel normal in a world that had stopped being normal the day he'd signed his first contract. 6 months later, Derek proposed. Vanessa said yes. Their wedding was small, just family and close friends in Grandma Rosa's backyard. Michael Jordan attended, bringing a gift wrapped in silver paper. "What is it?" Derek asked. "Open it later," Michael said with a wink. Then he pulled Derek aside. "Listen to me carefully. Marriage is harder than any championship. You're going to have moments when you want to quit, when you're tired and frustrated and you think it would be easier to walk away. Don't. You fight for it every single day. You hear me?" "I hear you," Derek promised. That night, Derek and Vanessa opened Michael's gift. Inside was a framed quote. "The strength of a family, like the strength of an army, lies in its loyalty to each other." "He's right," Vanessa said, resting her head on Derek's shoulder. "We're a team now." "Forever," Derek agreed. 2 years later, Vanessa got pregnant, with twins. Derek had never cried so hard in his life. He held the ultrasound picture and sobbed like a child. Vanessa held him, tears streaming down her own face. "I'm going to be a dad," Derek kept saying. "I'm actually going to be a dad." He thought about his own father, the man he'd lost too soon. Derek made a promise right then and there. His children would never grow up without a father. He would be there for every moment, every game, every recital, every scraped knee and bad dream. He would never leave them. When Lily and Marcus were born on a snowy February morning, Derek held them both and whispered that promise out loud. "I'm never going to let you down," he said to their tiny, sleeping faces. "Never. I swear it." For 3 years, he kept that promise. Derek won Rookie of the Year. Endorsement deals poured in. Nike wanted him. Gatorade wanted him. Luxury car companies wanted him. Money flowed like water. Derek bought a mansion with 10 bedrooms and a basketball court in the backyard. Vanessa felt uncomfortable in such a big house, but Derek insisted. "We made it, baby," he said, spinning her around the enormous kitchen. "Our kids are going to have everything. Everything we didn't have growing up." Vanessa smiled, but something felt off, something she couldn't name. She didn't know it then, but the mansion was the beginning of the end. The bigger Derek's world became, the smaller hers felt. He traveled constantly, morning practices, evening games, weekend tournaments. When he was home, he was exhausted or distracted. "I'm doing this for us," Derek would say when Vanessa complained about feeling alone. "For you and the kids. Don't you want them to have the best life possible?" Of course she did, but she also wanted their father. Late nights became later. Team meetings lasted until 2 in the morning. Derek started smelling like perfume that wasn't hers. Vanessa told herself she was being paranoid. Derek loved her. He'd promised to never let her down. But promises, she would learn, were easier to make than to keep. One afternoon, 4-year-old Lily came home from visiting Derek at the arena and said something that made Vanessa's blood run cold. "Daddy's friend gave me candy, Mommy, the one with the yellow hair. She was really nice." Vanessa's hands froze on the dish she was washing. "What friend, sweetheart? I don't know her name, but she smells pretty and she laughs a lot when Daddy talks." That night when Derek came home, Vanessa confronted him. He denied everything. "She's a sports journalist. It's her job to interview me. Lily probably saw us talking. That's all." But Vanessa saw the lie in his eyes. 3 months later, she found hotel receipts in Derek's gym bag, champagne charges, room service for 2. When she showed them to Derek, he didn't even try to deny it anymore. "Her name is Sienna," he said quietly. "It just happened, Van. I didn't mean for it to." Vanessa felt her whole world collapse. "How long? Does it matter? How long, Derek? A year, maybe more. I don't know." Vanessa filed for divorce the next morning. Derek's lawyers offered her $4 million in the settlement. Her own lawyer said it was generous, fair even. Vanessa signed the papers with shaking hands. She felt sick to her stomach. Something was wrong. She could feel it in her bones. Derek was hiding something bigger than the affair, bigger than the lies. But she had no proof, not yet. So she signed her name, took her $4 million, and tried to rebuild a life from the ashes of broken promises. She never saw it coming. None of what happened next. 2 years after the divorce, Vanessa thought she'd finally found peace. She lived in a modest 3-bedroom house on the south side of Chicago. It wasn't fancy, but it had a backyard where Lily and Marcus could play. The mortgage took a chunk of her settlement money, but Vanessa didn't care. It was theirs, a place Derek's shadow couldn't reach. She went back to work as a nurse at St. Mary's Hospital. Her co-workers didn't treat her like Derek Montgomery's ex-wife. They treated her like Vanessa, a good nurse who always volunteered for the hard shifts and remembered everyone's birthday. It felt good to be useful again, to be more than just someone's wife or someone's scandal. The kids adjusted better than Vanessa expected. Lily started first grade and made friends easily. Marcus was quieter, more sensitive. But he loved dinosaurs and building blocks, and the way his mother read him bedtime stories with funny voices. Every other weekend, Derek picked them up for visitation. He was always late, always on his phone, always promising, next time we'll do something special, but never following through. Vanessa watched her children's disappointment and felt rage burn in her chest. But she never said anything bad about Derek in front of them. That wasn't fair to Lily and Marcus. They deserved to love their father, even if he didn't deserve their love. Derek had remarried Sienna 6 months after the divorce was final. The wedding made every tabloid. The dress cost $50,000. The reception was at a 5-star hotel. Vanessa saw the pictures and felt nothing. Derek wasn't hers to mourn anymore. They lived in a $12 million mansion in the suburbs. It had a movie theater, an indoor pool, and a garage full of sports cars. Derek posted pictures on social media of his perfect new life. Him and Sienna on vacation in Italy, at movie premieres, courtside at games. Vanessa didn't follow his accounts, but people loved to show her. "Have you seen this?" they'd ask, shoving their phones in her face. She always smiled politely and changed the subject. She didn't envy the mansion or the cars or the champagne lifestyle. What broke her heart was simpler than that. It was watching Lily ask why Daddy's new house had a pool, but they couldn't afford swim lessons. It was Marcus wondering out loud why Daddy gave his stepkids expensive presents, but forgot Marcus's birthday 2 years in a row. "Your father loves you," Vanessa would say, even though the words tasted like lies. "He's just very busy." But Busy didn't explain everything. Busy didn't explain the child support payments that were always exactly on time, never a penny more, never a day early. Busy didn't explain Derek's coldness when Vanessa asked for help with the kids' medical bills or school expenses. "That's what the settlement was for," Derek would say. "I gave you $4 million, Vanessa. Manage it better." The settlement money was disappearing faster than Vanessa had planned. Property taxes, car repairs, medical insurance that didn't cover half of what it should. Lily needed braces. Marcus needed speech therapy after he started stuttering. Vanessa worked double shifts when she could. She clipped coupons. She bought clothes at thrift stores and learned to cook cheap meals that still felt special. But she never complained. Her children had food, shelter, and love. That was more than many kids had. Then Marcus got sick. It started small. He'd zone out during dinner, staring at nothing. "Marcus," Vanessa would say, waving her hand in front of his face. After a few seconds, he'd blink and come back, confused about why everyone was staring at him. The pediatrician said it was probably nothing. Some kids daydream. He'll grow out of it. But Vanessa knew something was wrong. A mother always knows. The first real seizure happened on a Tuesday morning. Vanessa was making breakfast when she heard a crash from the living room. She ran in to find Marcus on the floor, his body rigid, his eyes rolled back. "Marcus!" Vanessa screamed. She dropped beside him, turning him on his side like her nursing training had taught her. She counted the seconds. 30, 40, 50. It felt like hours. When it finally stopped, Marcus was limp and confused. "Mommy," he whispered. "What happened?" Vanessa called 911 with shaking hands. At the hospital, they ran every test imaginable: MRI, EEG, blood work. The neurologist was a serious man named Dr. Patel who wore bow ties and spoke gently. "Your son has a rare form of epilepsy," Dr. Patel explained, showing Vanessa brain scans she didn't understand. "It's called Dravet syndrome. It's genetic and progressive." Vanessa felt the floor drop out from under her. "Progressive? What does that mean?" "It means it will get worse without treatment. The seizures will become more frequent and more severe. But there's good news. A new medication has shown remarkable results. It's called Epidiolex Plus. It's still relatively new, which is why insurance companies are hesitant to cover it." "How much does it cost?" Vanessa asked, though she was terrified of the answer. Dr. Patel looked uncomfortable. "Approximately $300,000 per year." Vanessa couldn't breathe. $300,000 per year. "There are payment plans," Dr. Patel said quickly, "and sometimes we can appeal to insurance." "My insurance already denied it," Vanessa interrupted. She'd read the letter 3 times, each word feeling like a punch to the gut. "They said it's experimental. I'll write letters, we'll fight them. But in the meantime, we can try other medications. They're not as effective, but they're better than nothing." The other medications helped a little. Marcus's seizures went from daily to weekly, but they never stopped completely. And Vanessa lived in constant fear that one day, a seizure would last too long, would cause permanent damage, or worse. She called Derek that night after the diagnosis. Her hands shook as she dialed his number. "What is it, Vanessa?" Derek sounded annoyed. She heard music and laughter in the background. A party, probably. "It's Marcus. He's sick. He has epilepsy." Silence then. "Is he okay?" "He needs medication. Specialized treatment. It costs..." Her voice broke. "It costs $300,000 a year, Derek. Insurance won't cover it." More silence. Vanessa could picture Derek running his hand through his hair, that thing he did when he was stressed. "That's a lot of money," Derek finally said. "He's your son. I pay child support, generous child support. This is different. This is medical. He could die." "Derek!" "Don't be dramatic." Derek's voice went cold. "The settlement money was supposed to cover situations like this. That's why you got $4 million. Vanessa wanted to scream. "I've spent most of that on keeping us alive. Mortgage, food, bills, there are other medical expenses." "Then manage your money better," Derek snapped. "I can't just hand you hundreds of thousands of dollars every time something comes up. Our son is sick. And I'm sure you'll figure it out. You always do. Look, I have to go. We'll talk later." He hung up. Vanessa sat in her dark kitchen and cried until she had no tears left. The next day, she made a decision. She called a lawyer her friend had recommended, a woman who specialized in family law and financial investigations. Her name was Linda Zhao, and she had a reputation for being brilliant and ruthless. They met at a coffee shop downtown. Linda was younger than Vanessa expected, maybe 35, with sharp eyes and an expensive briefcase. "Tell me everything," Linda said, pulling out a legal pad. Vanessa did. She talked about the divorce, the settlement, the hidden perfume and late nights. She talked about how Derek's wealth had exploded after their divorce, but her settlement stayed the same. She talked about Marcus and the medication he needed. Linda listened without interrupting. When Vanessa finished, Linda was quiet for a long moment. "Did your divorce lawyer do a full financial discovery?" Linda finally asked. I think so. They got his bank statements and salary information. But did they look for hidden assets? Offshore accounts? Shell companies?" Vanessa blinked. "I don't know." "Is that something people do?" Linda smiled grimly. "Rich people do it all the time, especially when they're trying to hide money from a spouse." She tapped her pen against her pad. "Here's what I want to do. I want to hire a forensic accountant, someone who specializes in finding money people don't want found. I can't afford. Don't worry about cost right now. If we find something, we'll recover it through the court. If we don't, we'll figure out payment. Deal?" Vanessa hesitated. This felt dangerous, like opening a door she could never close. But then she thought of Marcus's last seizure, the way his small body had convulsed, the terror in his eyes when he woke up. "Deal," Vanessa said. The forensic accountant Linda hired was a quiet woman named Sarah Chen, who wore thick glasses and had 3 computer monitors on her desk. She worked for 2 months, digging through public records and financial databases. When she finally called Vanessa and Linda into her office, her expression was grim. "I found something," Sarah said. She turned her computer screen around. The spreadsheet made Vanessa's eyes cross. Numbers and account names she didn't recognize. "During your marriage," Sarah explained, "Derek Montgomery opened multiple offshore accounts in the Cayman Islands. He also created several shell companies that hold real estate investments and stock portfolios. Based on my analysis, he hid approximately $50 million in assets." Vanessa's vision blurred. 50 million? At minimum, could be more. These accounts were established during your marriage, which means under Illinois law, you're entitled to half. "He lied," Vanessa whispered. "In the divorce, he said his only assets were his salary and endorsements." "He committed fraud," Linda corrected. "Financial fraud in a divorce proceeding, which means we can go back to court and request the settlement be voided and recalculated." Vanessa thought about Derek's cold voice on the phone. "Manage your money better," all while sitting on $50 million he'd stolen from their marriage. "What do we do?" Vanessa asked. Linda leaned forward. "We take him back to court. We show the judge what he did, and we make him pay. He has expensive lawyers, the best money can buy." "So do we now," Linda said with a fierce smile. "Me." That night, Vanessa couldn't sleep. She kept thinking about what Marcus's doctor had said. Progressive, it will get worse. She thought about Lily asking why they couldn't go on vacations like Daddy and Sienna. She thought about Derek's promise on their wedding day. "I'll never let you down." At 3 in the morning, Vanessa made her final decision. She was going to fight, not for revenge, not for herself, for her children, for the life they deserved, for the medicine that could save Marcus's life. Linda filed the paperwork the next week. The lawsuit requested a full audit of Derek's finances and a recalculation of the divorce settlement based on the hidden assets. 2 days later, Vanessa's phone exploded with notifications. The media had found out. "Gold digger ex-wife demands more money from NBA star," screamed one headline. "Derek Montgomery's greedy ex back for more," read another. The comments on social media were vicious. Strangers called her every horrible name imaginable. They said she was jealous, vindictive, a bitter ex who couldn't move on. Derek's fans sent death threats to her Facebook page. Lily came home from school crying one day. "My friend Zoe says you're trying to steal Daddy's money because you're mean. She says everyone at school is talking about it." Vanessa pulled her daughter into her arms, fighting back tears. Baby, that's not true. Mommy's just trying to make sure you and Marcus are taken care of. But why is everyone so mad at you? Vanessa had no answer that a 6-year-old could understand. The court date was set for 6 months away. 6 months of waiting. 6 months of hate mail and whispered gossip and pitying looks from people who thought they knew her story. 3 weeks before the trial, someone knocked on Vanessa's door at 8 o'clock at night. She opened it carefully, keeping the chain lock on. Michael Jordan stood on her porch. Vanessa's mouth fell open. "Mr. Jordan, can I come in?" he asked gently. "I'd like to talk to you." Vanessa let him inside, completely stunned. The living room suddenly felt tiny with Michael Jordan standing in it. "The kids are asleep," Vanessa said nervously. "Can I get you coffee or—" "I'm fine." Michael sat on her worn couch. "Derek called me. He's scared about the trial." Vanessa's jaw tightened. "Good. He knows what he did was wrong, Vanessa. Hiding that money, it was stupid and cruel. Then why won't he just help Marcus? Why won't he pay for the treatment?" Michael sighed heavily. Pride. Fear. He's convinced himself that if he gives in, he looks weak. "Like you won." He shook his head. "I tried to talk sense into him. I told him this isn't about winning or losing. It's about his son's health." "What did he say?" "He said you just keep coming back for more. That he had to draw a line." Vanessa laughed bitterly. "A line? Our son is having seizures and Derek's worried about drawing lines." Michael looked at her with sad, knowing eyes. "I came here to tell you something, Vanessa. Whatever happens in that courtroom, you're doing the right thing. Those kids deserve better than what Derek's giving them. And you deserve better than what he did to you." Tears welled in Vanessa's eyes. "Thank you," she whispered. "I'm going to testify if your lawyer calls me," Michael added. "I'll tell the truth about what I know. Derek's not going to like it, but—" He shrugged. "Sometimes doing the right thing costs us things we care about." After Michael left, Vanessa sat in the dark living room for a long time. The trial was 3 weeks away. 3 weeks until she'd face Derek in court. 3 weeks until a judge would decide if she was a gold digger or a mother fighting for her child. 3 weeks until everything would change. Her phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. "Drop the case or you'll regret it." Vanessa stared at the message, her heart pounding. She deleted it and went to check on her children. Marcus was sleeping peacefully, his small chest rising and falling. Vanessa brushed his hair back from his forehead. "I'm not giving up," she whispered to her sleeping son. "I promise." No matter what threats came, no matter what Derek's lawyers said, no matter how much the world hated her, she was going to fight, and she was going to win. Vanessa didn't sleep the night she received the threatening text. She sat at her kitchen table until dawn, drinking cold coffee and staring at her phone. Should she tell Linda about the message? Should she call the police? Or would that make her look paranoid and dramatic? Exactly what Derek's lawyers wanted. By the time the sun rose, Vanessa had made a decision. She forwarded the text to Linda with a simple message. "Received this last night." Linda called within minutes. "Are you okay?" "I'm fine, just tired. I'm filing this with the court. They're trying to intimidate you, which means they're scared. That's good for us." Vanessa didn't feel good. She felt exhausted and alone. But she got up anyway. She made breakfast for Lily and Marcus. She braided Lily's hair and helped Marcus find his favorite dinosaur shirt. She drove them to school and kissed them goodbye and pretended everything was normal. Then she went to work at the hospital and took care of other people's emergencies while her own life fell apart. The weeks crawled by. Marcus had 2 more seizures, one at school that terrified his teacher, and one at home while Vanessa was getting ready for work. Each time, Vanessa held him and counted the seconds and prayed it would stop. The medication Dr. Patel had prescribed helped, but it wasn't enough. Marcus was tired all the time. His grades were slipping. He stopped wanting to play with his friends. "He needs the Epidiolex Plus," Dr. Patel told Vanessa during their last appointment. "These other medications are just band-aids. The longer we wait, the more damage could be occurring to his brain." Vanessa wanted to scream. Instead, she smiled and said, "I'm working on it." Working on it meant the trial, meant facing Derek and his lawyers in a courtroom full of judgment. 1 week before the trial, Linda called Vanessa to her office for final preparation. I'm not going to lie to you, Linda said, spreading files across her desk. This is going to be brutal. Derek's lawyer, Nathan Pierce, is one of the best in Chicago. He's going to paint you as greedy and vindictive. He's going to bring up every penny you've spent from the settlement and question your choices. I spent it on my children, Vanessa said quietly. I know that. You know that. But Nathan's going to make it look different. He'll point out the new car you bought. My old car died. I needed something reliable to get to work. I know, but he'll call it an unnecessary luxury. He'll mention the house, where my children live. I know, Vanessa. I know. Linda's voice was gentle but firm. I'm not saying these things to hurt you. I'm preparing you for what's coming. Nathan's job is to make the jury. There's no jury in family court, Vanessa interrupted. Right. His job is to make Judge Chen doubt you, to make her think this is about greed instead of justice. Vanessa's hands trembled. What if she believes him? She won't. We have the evidence. $50 million in hidden assets, Vanessa. That's fraud. Clear, documented fraud. Linda pulled out a thick folder. Sarah Chen did incredible work. We have bank records, wire transfers, corporate filings. Derek can't explain this away. But what if he tries, or what if he has some excuse that makes it all sound reasonable? Linda leaned forward. Then we have our secret weapon. What secret weapon? Michael Jordan. Vanessa's eyes widened. He said he'd testify, but I didn't think. Will he really? I spoke to him yesterday. He's willing to take the stand and testify about conversations he had with Derek, about how Derek bragged about hiding money from you, about how Derek laughed about the settlement being so low. Vanessa felt sick. Derek said that? According to Michael, yes. Derek got drunk at a party 2 years ago and told Michael he'd won the divorce, that his lawyers had made sure you'd never see his real wealth. Tears burned Vanessa's eyes. He was my husband, the father of my children. How could he? Linda reached across the desk and squeezed Vanessa's hand. Some people change when money gets involved. They become someone you don't recognize. That night, Vanessa tried to explain the trial to Lily and Marcus. She kept it simple. Mommy had to go to court to talk to a judge about Daddy and money. Is Daddy in trouble? Lily asked, her eyes wide. No, sweetheart. It's just grown-up stuff. Boring legal things. Will you be gone long? Marcus asked quietly. Just during the day. Grandma will stay with you. And when it's over, everything will be better. I promise. Another promise. Vanessa hoped she could keep this one. The night before the trial, Vanessa couldn't eat. She tried to review her testimony with Linda one more time, but the words blurred together. You need to sleep, Linda finally said. Tomorrow's going to be a long day. But Vanessa couldn't sleep. She lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, thinking about everything that had led to this moment. She thought about the girl she'd been when she met Derek, young, hopeful, so sure that love could conquer anything. She thought about their wedding day, the way Derek had cried when she walked down the aisle. Had any of it been real, or had she been fooling herself from the beginning? She thought about the night she'd found the hotel receipts, the way her hands had shaken, the way her heart had shattered into pieces so small she thought she'd never put it back together. And she thought about Marcus, her brave, sweet boy who didn't ask for any of this, who just wanted to play with dinosaurs and eat chicken nuggets and not have his brain betray him with seizures he couldn't control. At 3 a.m, Vanessa got up and went to Marcus's room. She sat beside his bed and watched him sleep. I'm doing this for you, she whispered. I hope someday you'll understand. Marcus stirred but didn't wake. Vanessa kissed his forehead and went back to her own room. She must have dozed off eventually because her alarm startled her awake at 6 a.m. trial day. Vanessa showered and dressed in the blue suit Linda had helped her pick out. Nothing too expensive. They didn't want her to look like she was living large. But nothing too cheap either. She needed to look respectable. She looked at herself in the mirror. Dark circles under her eyes. Hair pulled back in a simple bun. Barely any makeup. She looked tired. She looked scared. She looked like a woman who'd been through hell and somehow kept walking. You can do this, she told her reflection. You have to do this. Her mother arrived at 7 to watch the kids. You look beautiful, mija, Mama said, hugging her tight. Go fight for your babies. The courthouse was already crawling with reporters when Vanessa and Linda arrived. Cameras flashed. Microphones were shoved in her face. "Mrs. Montgomery, are you really asking for $50 million? Do you think you deserve more money? How does it feel to be called a gold digger?" Linda pushed through them, her hand firm on Vanessa's back. "No comment. Please let us through." Inside, the marble hallway felt cold and imposing. Vanessa's heels clicked too loudly on the floor. Every sound felt amplified. And then she saw him. Derek stood near the courtroom entrance, surrounded by his legal team. He wore a navy suit that probably cost $5,000. His hair was perfectly styled. He looked like the successful athlete he was, polished, confident, untouchable. Sienna stood beside him in a cream-colored dress, her yellow hair cascading over her shoulders. She wore the diamond earrings Derek had bought her for their anniversary. Vanessa had seen them on Instagram. Derek's eyes met Vanessa's across the hallway. For a moment, neither of them moved. Years of history passed between them in that single look. Love, betrayal, anger, regret. Then Derek looked away. Nathan Pierce, Derek's lawyer, approached them. He was tall and silver-haired, with the kind of smile that didn't reach his eyes. "Ms. Zhao," he said smoothly. "Mrs. Montgomery, I'm hoping we can settle this before we waste the court's time. My client is willing to offer an additional $1 million to make this go away." "Absolutely not," Linda said immediately. $2 million, final offer." "We'll see you in court, Nathan." Nathan's smile hardened. "Your choice. But I should warn you, I'm very good at my job. By the time I'm done, Judge Chen will see your client for exactly what she is." "A mother fighting for her sick child?" Linda shot back. "Yeah, I hope she does see that." They walked into the courtroom. Vanessa's legs felt like jelly. The room was smaller than she'd expected from all the lawyer shows on TV. Wooden benches, a judge's bench at the front, tables for the attorneys. Simple, plain. But to Vanessa, it felt like the most important room in the world. She sat beside Linda at the plaintiff's table. Derek sat at the defendant's table with Nathan. They were maybe 15 feet apart. It felt like miles. "All rise," the bailiff's voice boomed. "The Honorable Judge Patricia Chen presiding." Everyone stood. Judge Chen entered, the same small woman with sharp eyes and silver hair that Vanessa remembered from the preliminary hearing. She looked at Derek, then at Vanessa, then at the thick files on her desk. "Please be seated." Judge Chen's voice was calm but commanded respect. "We're here today to address Mrs. Montgomery's petition for post-divorce financial relief based on alleged fraud in the initial settlement. This is a serious claim. I expect both parties to conduct themselves with honesty and respect." She looked directly at Derek. "Mr. Montgomery, do you understand that you're under oath today?" "Yes, Your Honor." Derek's voice was steady. "And Mrs. Montgomery, you as well?" "Yes, Your Honor." Vanessa's voice shook slightly. Judge Chen opened the top file. "Let's begin with opening statements. Ms. Zhao?" Linda stood. She looked small but fierce, like a bird of prey. "Your Honor, this case is about justice. About a man who took vows to love and honor his wife, then systematically lied to her, cheated on her, and defrauded her during their divorce. While Mrs. Montgomery was raising their children and working as a nurse, Mr. Montgomery was hiding $50 million in offshore accounts and shell companies. When their son developed a serious medical condition requiring expensive treatment, Mr. Montgomery refused to help, despite sitting on a fortune he'd stolen from their marriage. We're not here for revenge. We're here for what Mrs. Montgomery was legally entitled to all along." Linda sat down. Vanessa's heart pounded. Nathan stood, buttoning his suit jacket with practiced ease. "Your Honor, what we have here is a classic case of buyer's remorse. Mrs. Montgomery signed a settlement agreement. She was represented by counsel. She received $4 million, more money than most Americans will see in a lifetime. But now, seeing her ex-husband's continued success, she wants more. The alleged hidden assets were legitimate business investments that Mr. Montgomery had every right to protect. My client offered an additional $2 million to settle this frivolous claim, but Mrs. Montgomery refused. Why? Because this isn't about her son's medical bills. It's about greed." He sat down with a satisfied smile. Vanessa felt like she'd been slapped. Greed. Her son was having seizures and Nathan was calling her greedy. "Mrs. Montgomery," Judge Chen said, "you'll testify first." Vanessa stood on shaking legs. The bailiff approached with a Bible. "Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?" "I do," Vanessa whispered. She took the stand. The chair felt too hard, the microphone too close. Linda approached with a gentle smile. "Mrs. Montgomery, can you tell the court about your marriage to Derek Montgomery?" Vanessa took a breath. "We met 7 years ago. Derek was just starting his career with the Bulls. I was in nursing school. We fell in love, got married, had twins. And when did the marriage start to have problems? About 3 years in. Derek was traveling constantly. He became distant. Then I found out he was having an affair. With Ms. Sienna Parker, his current wife? Yes. And when you filed for divorce, what happened? Derek's lawyers offered me a settlement, $4 million plus child support. My lawyer said it was fair, so I signed. Did you know about the offshore accounts? No, not until recently." Linda pulled out documents. "Your Honor, I'd like to enter into evidence exhibits A through M. Bank statements, wire transfers, and corporate filings showing approximately $50 million in assets established during the Montgomery marriage that were not disclosed during divorce proceedings." Judge Chen examined the documents carefully. Her expression revealed nothing. Nathan stood. "Objection, Your Honor. Those investments were made with Mr. Montgomery's post-tax income. They were his separate property." "Overruled," Judge Chen said. "If they were established during the marriage, they're potentially marital property. Continue, Ms. Zhao." Linda turned back to Vanessa. "Mrs. Montgomery, tell the court about your son, Marcus." Vanessa's voice cracked. "Marcus has Dravet syndrome. It's a rare form of epilepsy. He has seizures, sometimes multiple times a week." "And there's a treatment?" "Yes, Epidiolex Plus, but it costs $300,000 a year. Insurance won't cover it." "Did you ask Mr. Montgomery for help?" "Yes, he said no. He told me to manage my money better." Vanessa saw Derek flinch. "Good, he should feel ashamed." "No further questions," Linda said. Nathan approached for cross-examination. His smile was sharp. "Mrs. Montgomery, you received $4 million in the settlement, correct?" "Yes." "And how much of that remains?" Vanessa's throat tightened. "About $800,000. So you spent $3 million in 2 years? On a house, a car, medical bills, a $300,000 house, and a $40,000 car, according to these records. That's $340,000. Where did the other $2 million go?" Vanessa felt panic rising. "Marcus's medical treatment, Lily's braces, speech therapy. Insurance doesn't cover everything. $2 million on medical bills for children who aren't critically ill. My son has epilepsy, which is being managed with medication, yes? He's not dying?" Linda stood. "Objection, argumentative and insensitive." "Sustained," Judge Chen said, but she was watching Vanessa carefully. Nathan pressed on. "Mrs. Montgomery, isn't it true that you're simply bad at managing money? That you spent lavishly and now you're coming back for more?" "No, I'm trying to save my son's life." "Your Honor, I'm done with this witness." Vanessa stumbled back to her table, tears streaming down her face. Linda squeezed her hand. "You did fine," Linda whispered. "He's just trying to rattle you." But Vanessa felt like she was drowning. The trial continued. Sarah Chen, the forensic accountant, testified about the hidden accounts. Nathan tried to discredit her, but her evidence was solid. Then Linda called her final witness. The plaintiff calls Michael Jordan. The courtroom erupted in whispers. Derek's face went pale. Michael entered, dressed in a simple suit, and took the stand. "Mr. Jordan," Linda began, "what is your relationship to Derek Montgomery?" "I mentored Derek when he joined the NBA. I considered him like a son. Did you ever have conversations with Mr. Montgomery about his divorce?" Michael hesitated. He looked at Derek and Vanessa saw sadness in his eyes. "Yes, about 2 years ago, Derek got drunk at a party. He told me he'd won the divorce. That his lawyers had hidden his real wealth and Vanessa had no idea how much he was actually worth." Derek stood. "That's a lie." "Mr. Montgomery, sit down," Judge Chen ordered. Michael continued. He laughed about it, said Vanessa would never see a penny more than the settlement. I told him that was wrong, that those kids deserve better. He told me to mind my own business. The courtroom was silent. Nathan had no questions for Michael. What could he say? Judge Chen called a recess. As everyone filed out, Derek cornered Vanessa in the hallway. His eyes were desperate. Please, he whispered. Please drop this. You're going to ruin me. Everything I've built. Vanessa looked at the man she'd once loved. You ruined us first, Derek. You ruined our family. You're ruining our son's chance at a normal life. I'll pay for Marcus's treatment. Just drop the lawsuit. It's too late for that. Derek's face hardened. You're going to regret this. Maybe, Vanessa said quietly, but at least I'll be able to look my children in the eye. She walked away, her heart pounding. Tomorrow, Judge Chen would announce her decision. Tomorrow, Vanessa would find out if fighting back had been worth it. Tomorrow, everything would change. But tomorrow didn't come quickly enough. Vanessa barely made it through the night. She lay in bed, replaying every moment of the trial. Had she said the right things? Did Judge Chen believe her? Or did Nathan's cross-examination make her look like the greedy ex-wife he'd painted her to be? At 2 in the morning, she gave up on sleep and went to the kitchen. The house was dark and quiet. Too quiet. Her thoughts screamed in the silence. She pulled out her phone and scrolled through the news articles about the trial. Big mistake. Michael Jordan betrays protege in shocking court testimony, read one headline. Is Vanessa Montgomery a gold digger or a desperate mother? Asked another. The comments were worse. Thousands of strangers who knew nothing about her life had strong opinions about what kind of person she was. She got $4 million and blew through it. That's on her. Poor Derek. His ex is trying to destroy him. If my son was sick, I'd do the same thing. Team Vanessa all the way. She's just mad he upgraded to a younger, prettier wife. Vanessa closed the app before she threw her phone across the room. A soft sound made her turn. Marcus stood in the doorway, clutching his stuffed brontosaurus. Mommy, why are you awake? Vanessa's heart clenched. Just couldn't sleep, baby. What about you? Bad dream. Marcus climbed into her lap, even though he was getting too big for it. I dreamed the dinosaurs were all gone and I couldn't find them. Vanessa held him close, breathing in the scent of his strawberry shampoo. The dinosaurs are safe. They're all in your room, remember? Not those dinosaurs, the real ones, from a long time ago. Oh, sweetheart, those dinosaurs have been gone for millions of years. I know, but in my dream I could save them. Only I was too late. Marcus looked up at her with serious eyes. Are you too late for something, Mommy? The question hit Vanessa like a punch. What makes you ask that? You look sad, like you're worried you're too late. 6 years old and he could read her like a book. Vanessa kissed the top of his head. I'm not too late, I promise. Everything's going to be okay. Because of the court thing? You know about that? Marcus nodded. Lily told me. She said you and Daddy are fighting about money. Vanessa chose her words carefully. We're not fighting exactly. We're just talking to a judge about what's fair for you and Lily. Is it because I'm sick? No, baby, you're not sick. I have seizures, Mommy. That's being sick. Vanessa's throat tightened. You have a medical condition, but we're going to get you the medicine that makes it better. The expensive medicine? How did he know it was expensive? Had he heard her on the phone with the doctor? With Linda? Yes, the medicine that will help you feel better and have fewer seizures. Marcus was quiet for a moment. Then, is Daddy going to pay for it? I hope so. What if he doesn't? Vanessa held her son tighter. Then Mommy will figure something else out. I always do, right? Right. Marcus yawned. Can I sleep with you tonight? Of course. They went back to Vanessa's room together. Marcus curled up beside her, his small body warm against hers. Within minutes, he was asleep. Vanessa watched him breathe, counting each rise and fall of his chest. This was what she was fighting for. Not money, not revenge. Just this. Her son, safe and healthy and able to dream about dinosaurs. She must have dozed off eventually, because she woke to sunlight streaming through the windows and the smell of her mother making breakfast downstairs. Marcus was already up, probably watching cartoons with Lily. Vanessa checked her phone. A text from Linda. Judge Chen's office called. Verdict at 2 p.m. today. Be at the courthouse by 1:30. Today. The verdict was today. Vanessa's stomach dropped. She wasn't ready. She needed more time to prepare, to think, Her phone rang. Linda. Did you see my text? Linda asked. Yes, I can't believe it's today. Judge Chen moves fast. That's actually good for us. She's made her decision, which means she's confident in it. What if she rules against me? Then we appeal. But Vanessa, I don't think she will. The evidence is too strong. Derek committed fraud. Judge Chen knows it. Vanessa wanted to believe her. Okay, I'll be there. Wear the same suit from yesterday. And Vanessa, try to eat something. You're going to need your strength. After they hung up, Vanessa went downstairs. Her mother was making pancakes while Lily and Marcus sat at the table, still in their pajamas. Mommy, Lily jumped up. Grandma's making chocolate chip pancakes. I see that. Vanessa forced a smile. That's special. Her mother gave her a knowing look. Big day. The biggest. After breakfast, Vanessa's mother pulled her aside. Whatever happens today, Mija, you hold your head high. You're fighting for your babies. That's what mothers do. What if I lose, Mama? What if the judge thinks I'm just a gold digger like everyone says? Her mother gripped her shoulders firmly. Then you lose. But you lose knowing you tried, knowing you fought. That matters, Vanessa. Your children will remember that you stood up for them when it mattered most. Vanessa hugged her mother tightly. Thank you for being here. Always, Mija. Always. At noon, Vanessa started getting ready. She showered and dried her hair, then put on the blue suit. Her hands shook as she applied minimal makeup, just enough to not look like death. She looked at herself in the mirror. The same tired woman from yesterday stared back. But there was something different in her eyes today. Determination. She'd come too far to give up now. Her mother drove her to the courthouse. Do you want me to come in? Mom asked. No, stay with the kids. I don't want them seeing the reporters. Call me the second you know. I don't care if I'm in the middle of something. I will. I love you, Mama. I love you too, Mija. Now go show them what Montgomery women are made of. The courthouse steps were packed with reporters again. Vanessa pushed through them without making eye contact, ignoring their shouted questions. Inside, Linda was waiting. She looked confident in a charcoal gray suit. Ready? Linda asked. No, but let's do this anyway. They walked to the courtroom. Derek was already there with Nathan and his legal team. Sienna sat in the front row again, her expression unreadable. Derek looked terrible. His suit was wrinkled. Dark circles shadowed his eyes. He looked like he hadn't slept. Good, Vanessa thought viciously, then immediately felt guilty. She didn't want to be the kind of person who took pleasure in someone else's pain. But Derek had caused so much of hers. Michael Jordan sat in the back row. He nodded at Vanessa when she entered. His presence was comforting, a reminder that not everyone thought she was wrong. All rise, Judge Chen entered. She carried a folder that looked thin, too thin for all the evidence they'd presented. Vanessa's heart raced. Please be seated. Judge Chen sat and opened her folder. I've reviewed all the evidence and testimony presented in this case. I've also reviewed the original divorce settlement and Mr. Montgomery's financial disclosures from that time. She paused. Vanessa couldn't breathe. This is a complicated case, Judge Chen continued. On one hand, we have a settlement agreement that both parties sign. Agreements matter. Finality matters. We can't have people coming back to court every time their circumstances change. Vanessa's heart sank. This was it. She was going to lose. However, Judge Chen said, and Vanessa's head snapped up, we also can't have people committing fraud and hiding behind settlement agreements they obtained through dishonesty. Derek shifted in his seat. The evidence presented by Mrs. Ray, Montgomery's forensic accountant, is damning. Mr. Montgomery clearly established multiple offshore accounts and shell companies during his marriage, then failed to disclose these assets during divorce proceedings. This is not a gray area. This is fraud. Nathan stood. Your Honor, if I may. You may not, Mr. Pierce. Sit down. Nathan sat, his face red. Judge Chen looked at Derek. Mr. Montgomery, you stood in a courtroom 2 years ago and swore to provide accurate financial information. You lied. You defrauded your wife and you defrauded this court. Derek's jaw clenched. However, Judge Chen continued, turning to Vanessa, I also need to address Mrs. Montgomery's financial management. You received $4 million. While I understand that medical expenses can be substantial, the accounting you provided shows some questionable spending choices. Vanessa's stomach twisted. That being said, Judge Chen added, questionable financial management doesn't negate fraud, and it doesn't change the fact that your son has a serious medical condition requiring expensive treatment that his father has the means to provide. Judge Chen closed her folder. I'm going to take the weekend to review my notes and prepare my final ruling. We'll reconvene Monday morning at 9 a.m. for my decision. What? Vanessa felt like she'd been punched. Court is adjourned. Judge Chen stood and left. The courtroom erupted in noise. Reporters rushed out to file their stories. Lawyers gathered their papers. Vanessa sat frozen. She didn't decide? Linda put a hand on her arm. She needs more time. That's not unusual. But you said she was confident. She is. She just wants to make sure she gets this right. A decision this big. Millions of dollars. She's being careful. Vanessa wanted to scream. Another weekend of waiting. Another weekend of not knowing. She stood on shaky legs. Derek was across the room, arguing in harsh whispers with Nathan. He looked up and caught Vanessa's eye. For a moment, they just stared at each other. Then Derek crossed the room. Nathan tried to stop him, but Derek shook him off. Vanessa! Derek's voice was rough. Can we talk? Please? Just for a minute. Linda stepped between them. My client has nothing to say to you. Linda, it's okay. Vanessa didn't know why she agreed. Maybe because Derek looked so broken, so unlike the confident man she'd once known. They stepped into a small conference room off the main hallway. Linda waited outside, watching through the glass. Derek ran his hand through his hair, that familiar gesture that used to make Vanessa's heart flutter. Now it just made her tired. I'm sorry, Derek said quietly. For all of it. The affair, the lying, hiding the money. You didn't deserve any of that. Vanessa crossed her arms. Is this your lawyer's idea? Apologize to make me look vindictive if I don't drop the case? No, this is me. Just me. Derek's eyes were red. I've been thinking a lot about what Michael said on the stand, about how I laughed about the settlement, about how I thought I'd won. You did laugh. You did think you won. I know, and I was wrong. I was so focused on protecting my money, on making sure you didn't take me for everything, like everyone warned me you would. I forgot that we were supposed to be a team, that we made that money together. Vanessa's throat burned. I gave up my career for you. I stayed home with the babies so you could travel and practice and become a star. I was there for every injury, every bad game, every moment you doubted yourself, and you repaid me by cheating and lying and hiding millions of dollars. I know. God, Vanessa, I know. I was selfish and stupid and... His voice cracked. I threw away the best thing that ever happened to me because I was too proud to admit I needed you. Tears spilled down Vanessa's cheeks. Why are you telling me this now? It's too late, Derek. We're divorced. You're remarried. Our family is broken. I know it's too late for us, but it's not too late for the kids. For Marcus. Derek pulled out his phone. I called my financial advisor this morning. I'm setting up a medical trust for Marcus. $5 million. Whatever treatment he needs for as long as he needs it. Vanessa's heart stopped. What? I should have done it the day you called me about his diagnosis. I was angry and proud, and I couldn't see past my own ego. But watching you in that courtroom, listening to everything I put you through, Derek wiped his eyes. You're an amazing mother, Van. Our kids are lucky to have you. I don't understand. Why now? The judge hasn't even ruled yet. Because it's the right thing to do. Because Marcus is my son and he deserves better than what I've been giving him. Derek met her eyes. I'm also going to instruct Nathan to stop fighting the settlement modification. Whatever Judge Chen decides, I'll accept it. Vanessa couldn't speak. This was everything she'd wanted. Marcus's treatment, secured. No more fighting. But it also felt hollow somehow, like winning a battle she'd already lost. Thank you, she finally whispered. For Marcus. He's going to be so happy. Will you tell him it's from me? I know I don't deserve any credit, but I want him to know I'm trying, that I'm going to do better. I'll tell him. Derek moved toward the door, then stopped. For what it's worth, I never stopped loving you. I just stopped knowing how to show it, and by the time I figured that out, it was too late. He left before Vanessa could respond. She stood in the empty conference room, tears streaming down her face. These weren't tears of joy or relief. They were tears of grief for everything they'd lost, for the family they could have been. Linda poked her head in. You okay? Derek's setting up the medical trust. He's dropping his defense. Linda's eyes widened. Seriously? Seriously? That's huge, Vanessa. That means Monday's hearing is just a formality. Judge Chen will approve the settlement modification without a fight. Vanessa nodded, but she felt numb. This is good news, Linda said gently. You won. Had she? It didn't feel like winning. It felt like surviving. Vanessa went home and told her mother everything. Then she sat down with Lily and Marcus. Remember how Mommy had to go to court to talk to the judge? Vanessa said. About Daddy and money, Lily said matter-of-factly. Right. Well, Daddy and I talked today, and he's going to make sure Marcus gets the medicine he needs. Marcus's eyes went wide. The expensive medicine? The one that stops seizures? Yes, baby, that one. Marcus threw his arms around Vanessa's neck. Does that mean I won't be sick anymore? It means you'll feel a lot better. The seizures will happen less. Maybe hardly at all. When can I start? As soon as the judge signs some papers on Monday, then Dr. Patel will write the prescription. Lily frowned. Is Daddy being nice now? Vanessa chose her words carefully. Daddy made some mistakes, but he's trying to fix them. That's what matters. That night, Vanessa called Dr. Patel and told him about the trust fund. The relief in his voice was palpable. This is wonderful news, Mrs. Montgomery. I'll start the Epidiolex Plus protocol as soon as we have approval. Marcus's quality of life is going to improve dramatically. After hanging up, Vanessa sat on her porch and watched the sunset. The weekend stretched ahead, 2 more days of waiting for Judge Chen's official ruling. But the battle was over. Derek had surrendered. Vanessa had won. So why did she feel so empty? Her phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. I saw the news. You should be proud. You fought like hell. MJ Michael Jordan. Even though he'd testified against Derek, he was reaching out with kindness. Vanessa typed back, Thank you for telling the truth. It couldn't have been easy. His response came quickly. The truth is never easy, but it's always right. Your kids are lucky to have you. Vanessa stared at that message for a long time. Maybe she had won after all, not money or vindication or revenge. She'd won her son's health, her children's future, and maybe, just maybe, a little piece of herself back. Monday would make it official. Judge Chen would sign the papers. Derek would establish the trust. Marcus would get his medicine, and Vanessa could finally breathe again. She went inside and found Marcus and Lily watching a movie in the living room. Scoot over, Vanessa said, squeezing between them on the couch. They cuddled close, one child on each side. Safe, loved, together. Mommy? Marcus whispered. Yeah, baby. Thank you for fighting for me. Vanessa kissed the top of his head, tears sliding silently down her cheeks. Always, sweetheart. Always. The weekend crawled by like a wounded animal. Vanessa tried to keep busy. She cleaned the house until it sparkled. She meal prepped for the entire week. She took Lily and Marcus to the park on Saturday and watched them play on the swings, their laughter cutting through her anxiety like sunlight through clouds. But at night, alone in her room, the doubts crept back in. What if Derek changed his mind? What if his lawyers convinced him that surrendering was a mistake? What if Judge Chen decided to punish Vanessa anyway for spending the original settlement money? Sunday morning, Vanessa woke up with a headache that felt like someone was squeezing her skull. She took 2 aspirin and made pancakes for the kids, going through the motions while her mind spun in circles. You seem nervous, Mommy, Lily observed, drowning her pancakes in syrup. Just a little, sweetheart. Because of tomorrow? Yes. Will the judge be nice? Vanessa thought about Judge Chen's sharp eyes and stern voice. The judge will be fair. That's what matters. Marcus pushed his pancakes around his plate. What if I have a seizure tomorrow? When you're at court? Vanessa's heart clenched. Grandma will be here, and you have your emergency medicine. But baby, you haven't had a seizure in 5 days. That's really good. I know, but sometimes they just happen, when I don't expect them. I know, sweetheart, but soon you'll have the new medicine, and they'll happen even less. Promise? Vanessa kissed his forehead. I promise. Another promise. She was making so many these days. She just prayed she could keep them all. That afternoon, Linda called. How are you holding up? I'm okay, nervous. That's normal. Listen, I spoke to Nathan Pierce this morning. Derek's team has submitted a formal agreement to drop their opposition. They're also proposing the exact settlement modification we requested. $18 million plus the medical trust. Vanessa's hand tightened on the phone. So it's really happening? It's really happening. Tomorrow's hearing is just a formality. Judge Chen will review the agreement, make sure it's fair, and sign off on it. What if she doesn't think it's fair? What if she thinks I'm getting too much? Linda laughed softly. Vanessa, you were defrauded out of $25 million in marital assets. $18 million is actually less than you're entitled to. Judge Chen knows that. Okay. Vanessa took a shaky breath. What time should I be there? 8:30. We're first on the docket. The whole thing should take maybe 30 minutes. 30 minutes. Her entire future decided in 30 minutes. Linda, thank you for everything. I could never have done this without you. Yes, you could have. You're stronger than you think, Vanessa. But you're welcome. Now get some rest. Tomorrow's your day. But Vanessa didn't rest. She lay awake until midnight, then gave up and went to sit in the living room. The house was dark and quiet. Through the window, she could see the street lamp casting long shadows across the lawn. She thought about the girl she'd been when she married Derek. So young, so naive, so certain that love was enough to conquer anything. She thought about the woman she'd become. Harder, sadder, but also stronger, a survivor. And she thought about her children, sleeping peacefully upstairs. Everything she'd done, the lawsuit, the media scrutiny, the public humiliation, had been for them. Tomorrow it would all be worth it. At some point, Vanessa must have dozed off on the couch because she woke to sunlight streaming through the windows and her mother shaking her shoulder. Mia, it's 7 o'clock. You need to get ready. Vanessa sat up, disoriented. What? Oh God, today's the day. Yes, now go shower. I'll make you breakfast. I can't eat. You'll eat anyway. You need your strength. Vanessa showered and dressed in her blue suit for the third time. It was starting to feel like armor. She applied makeup with trembling hands, then stared at herself in the mirror. This was it. The last time she'd have to walk into that courtroom. The last time she'd have to face Derek and his lawyers and the judgment of strangers. After today, she could start healing. Her mother made scrambled eggs and toast. Vanessa forced down a few bites, her stomach churning. Lily and Marcus came downstairs still in their pajamas. Do you have to go to court again, Mommy? Marcus asked. One last time, baby. But this time is different. This time the judge is going to help us. And then I get my medicine. Then you get your medicine. Marcus smiled, a real, genuine smile that lit up his whole face. Vanessa's heart nearly burst. At 8 o'clock, her mother drove her to the courthouse. The reporters had thinned out significantly. Only a handful remained, probably hoping for one last dramatic shot. Vanessa ignored them and went inside. Linda was waiting in the hallway, looking confident and professional. Ready? As I'll ever be. They walked to the courtroom together. Derek was already there with Nathan. But this time, Sienna wasn't with him. Derek sat alone at the defendant's table, his shoulders hunched. He looked up when Vanessa entered. Their eyes met, and Vanessa saw something she hadn't expected. Shame. Michael Jordan sat in the back row again. He gave Vanessa a small nod. His presence was like a blessing. A few other people scattered throughout the courtroom. Court staff, a couple of reporters allowed inside, random observers. But it felt emptier than before, quieter. All rise, the Honorable Judge Patricia Chen presiding. Judge Chen entered, carrying a thicker folder this time. She sat and arranged her papers with methodical precision. Please be seated. She opened the folder and looked at both tables. We're here this morning to finalize the settlement modification in the case of Montgomery versus Montgomery. I understand the parties have reached an agreement. Nathan stood. Yes, Your Honor. My client has agreed to the settlement terms proposed by Mrs. Montgomery's counsel. And Mrs. Montgomery, you agree to these terms? Linda stood. Yes, Your Honor. Judge Chen reviewed the documents in front of her. The silence stretched out, taut as a wire. Before I approve this settlement, Judge Chen finally said, I want to make a few things clear. Vanessa's stomach dropped. Here it came. The lecture, the judgment. Mr. Montgomery, stand up, please. Derek stood, his face pale. Judge Chen looked at him with an expression that could freeze fire. You came into my courtroom and lied. You committed fraud. You hid assets from your wife during your divorce, and then you refused to help your own sick child because of pride and greed. Derek's jaw clenched, but he said nothing. The only reason I'm not referring this case to the district attorney for criminal prosecution is because Mrs. Montgomery asked me not to. She wants to move on with her life, not spend years in a criminal trial. You should be grateful for her mercy because you certainly don't deserve it. Yes, Your Honor, Derek said quietly. You're a talented athlete. You have millions of fans, but athletic ability doesn't make you a good person. Character makes you a good person. And Mr. Montgomery, your character has been found severely lacking. Vanessa saw Derek's hands shake. However, Judge Chen continued, I do acknowledge that you've taken steps to correct your mistakes. The medical trust fund for your son is a good start. Agreeing to this settlement modification is another step. I hope you continue on this path. I will, Your Honor. I promise. Judge Chen turned to Vanessa. Mrs. Montgomery, please stand. Vanessa stood on shaking legs. You came to me demanding $12 million in additional settlement funds, Judge Chen said. Vanessa's heart pounded. Was the judge about to reduce the amount? Your attorney made a compelling case. The forensic evidence was damning. You were clearly defrauded. Judge Chen paused and Vanessa held her breath. However, I've reviewed your financial records from the past 2 years. While I understand that medical expenses can be substantial, I also see some spending that could have been more carefully managed. Vanessa felt heat rise to her cheeks. That being said, Judge Chen continued, poor financial management doesn't negate fraud, and it doesn't change the fact that you were entitled to half of the marital assets from the beginning. Judge Chen picked up a pen. Therefore, I'm approving the settlement modification with one change. One change? Vanessa's pulse raced. Instead of $18 million, I'm awarding you $22 million. The courtroom gasped. Vanessa's knees nearly buckled. Furthermore, Judge Chen said, her voice firm, Mr. Montgomery will establish a medical trust fund of $5 million specifically for Marcus Montgomery's ongoing treatment. This trust will be renewable annually as needed, with no cap for the duration of Marcus's life. Vanessa couldn't breathe. $5 million, renewable, no cap. Additionally, Judge Chen continued, child support will be tripled, retroactive to the date of divorce. Mr. Montgomery will also be responsible for all educational expenses, including college, for both children. Tears streamed down Vanessa's face. She couldn't stop them. Judge Chen looked directly at Derek. Mr. Montgomery, you stood before me and claimed you built your empire alone. But the evidence shows that your ex-wife sacrificed her own nursing career to support you during your rookie years. She managed your household, raised your children, and provided the stability that allowed you to focus on basketball. Derek's face was bright red. Then you betrayed her. You hid assets. You committed fraud. And worst of all, when your own child fell ill, you turned away. Judge Chen's voice softened slightly as she turned back to Vanessa. Mrs. Montgomery, you asked me for fairness. That's what I'm giving you. Not because you were married to a wealthy man, but because you were cheated. Because you earned this money through your contributions to the marriage. And because your children deserve a father who takes responsibility. Judge Chen picked up her gavel. I'm also ordering Mr. Montgomery to pay all legal fees and court costs incurred by Mrs. Montgomery in this case. This settlement is final and binding. She brought the gavel down with a sharp crack. Court is adjourned. Vanessa collapsed into her chair, sobbing. Not tears of sadness, tears of overwhelming relief, of vindication, of disbelief that this was actually happening. Linda hugged her tightly. "You did it. Oh my God, Vanessa, you did it. $22 million. $5 million for Marcus's treatment, renewable forever, triple child support, all educational expenses covered. Her children would never struggle again. Marcus would get the treatment he needed. Lily could go to any college she wanted. They were safe, secure, protected." Across the room, Derek sat with his head in his hands. Nathan was packing up his briefcase, his expression grim. Vanessa felt a surge of something, not quite pity, but not quite satisfaction either. Derek had lost. But more than that, he'd been publicly shamed by a judge who saw through his excuses. She should feel triumphant, victorious. Instead, she just felt tired. Michael Jordan approached her table. "Congratulations, Vanessa. Thank you, and thank you for testifying. I know that couldn't have been easy." Michael glanced at Derek. "It wasn't, but it was necessary. Sometimes the people we care about need to face consequences for their actions. It's the only way they learn." "Do you think he's learned?" "I hope so, for his sake and for those kids." Michael smiled gently. "You fought like a champion. Your children are lucky to have you." After Michael left, Vanessa gathered her things with Linda's help. Her hands were still shaking. "What happens now?" Vanessa asked. "Now Derek's lawyers draft the final settlement documents. They have 30 days to transfer the funds. The medical trust will be established within 2 weeks. And you, Vanessa Montgomery, get to go home and start your new life." Vanessa walked out of the courtroom in a daze. The reporters swarmed immediately. "Mrs. Montgomery, how does it feel to win? Are you satisfied with the settlement? Do you have any message for Derek Montgomery?" Vanessa stopped. Linda started to pull her away, but Vanessa shook her head. She looked directly at the cameras. "I didn't do this for revenge. I didn't do this for money. I did this for my children, to get my son the medical treatment he needs and to secure their future. Every mother would do the same." She paused, choosing her next words carefully. "Derek Montgomery is a talented athlete, but more importantly, he's a father. I hope he remembers that. I hope he learns from this. And I hope he becomes the dad our children deserve." Vanessa didn't wait for more questions. She walked away, Linda beside her, and didn't look back. Outside, the morning sun was bright and warm. Vanessa tilted her face toward it and breathed deeply. It was over. Finally, blessedly over. She called her mother from the car. "Mama, it's done. And we won. More than we asked for. Marcus is going to get his medicine." Her mother's sob of relief echoed through the phone. "Gracias a Dios. Oh, mija, I'm so proud of you. Can you put Marcus on the phone?" A moment later, Marcus's small voice came through. "Mommy? Hi, baby, I have good news. The judge said yes. You're going to get the special medicine." Marcus was quiet for so long, Vanessa thought the call had dropped. Then, "Really? The one that stops seizures? Really? When?" "Dr. Patel says we can start in 2 weeks." "Mommy, are you crying?" Vanessa wiped her eyes. "Happy tears, sweetheart. These are happy tears. I can't wait to tell my teacher. She's been worried about me." "You can tell everyone, baby. Now let me talk to Grandma again." After saying goodbye, Vanessa leaned back in the passenger seat and closed her eyes. Linda drove in comfortable silence for a few minutes. Then, "What are you going to do with the money?" Vanessa had been thinking about that. "Put most of it in trust for the kids. Make sure they're set for life. Maybe buy a slightly bigger house. Nothing fancy, just something with a yard Marcus can play in without seizing on concrete. And the rest? I want to go back to school, finish my nursing degree, maybe become a pediatric nurse. Work with kids like Marcus." Linda smiled. "That sounds perfect." When Vanessa got home, her mother and the children were waiting on the porch. Marcus ran to her, throwing his arms around her waist. "You did it, Mommy! You saved me!" Vanessa held him tight, tears flowing freely now. "We saved each other, baby." Lily joined the hug. "Does this mean we're rich now?" Vanessa laughed through her tears. "It means we're secure. It means you don't have to worry. It means Marcus gets his medicine, and you both get to go to college, and we get to breathe a little easier." "Good," Lily said matter-of-factly. I was tired of worrying. They went inside together. Vanessa's mother had made her famous chicken enchiladas. Comfort food for a day that had been anything but comfortable. Over dinner, Vanessa told them age-appropriate versions of what had happened in court. The judge was fair. Daddy agreed to help. Everything was going to be okay. Is Daddy mad at you? Marcus asked. Vanessa considered lying, then decided on honesty. Probably a little, but that's okay. Sometimes people get mad when they have to face consequences for their mistakes. Like when I have to go to timeout for hitting Lily? Exactly like that. After dinner, Vanessa sat on the porch while the kids played in the backyard. The evening air was cool and sweet. In the distance, she could hear neighborhood children laughing. Her phone buzzed. A text from Derek. The judge was right about everything. I'm sorry, Van. I'm going to do better. For the kids. Vanessa stared at the message for a long time. Part of her wanted to ignore it. Part of her wanted to send an angry response listing every way he'd failed them. But she was tired of being angry. She typed back, the kids need their father, not your money, not your apologies. Just you, being present and consistent. Can you do that? His response came quickly. I'm going to try, I promise. Another promise. Vanessa hoped Derek could keep this one. She put her phone away and watched her children play. Marcus was chasing Lily around a tree, both of them shrieking with laughter. In 2 weeks, he'd start the new medication. His seizures would decrease. His quality of life would improve. He'd get to be a normal kid, finally. Lily caught sight of Vanessa watching and ran over. Mommy, come play with us. I'm tired, sweetheart. Please? Just for a little bit? Vanessa looked at her daughter's hopeful face and couldn't say no. She stood and let Lily pull her into the yard. They played tag until the sun started to set. Vanessa hadn't run and laughed like this in months, maybe years. It felt good. It felt healing. When they finally went inside, all three of them were breathless and happy. That night, after tucking the children into bed, Vanessa received one more text. From Michael Jordan. I heard the final ruling. Judge Chen did right by you. You should be proud. You didn't just fight for money. You fought for dignity, for justice, for your family. That takes real courage. The world needs more mothers like you, more people like you. Keep being extraordinary. MJ. Vanessa read the message 3 times, then saved it. She got ready for bed in a daze. Everything felt surreal. Tomorrow she'd wake up and this would all still be real. The money, the medical trust, the victory. Marcus would get his medicine. Lily would have opportunities Vanessa never had. They'd be okay. More than okay. They'd thrive. Vanessa crawled into bed and closed her eyes. For the first time in months, she felt peace settle over her like a warm blanket. She'd done it. Against impossible odds, against public opinion, against one of the richest men in Chicago. She'd fought, and she'd won. Not just money, not just vindication. She'd won her children's future, their health, their security, and maybe, just maybe, she'd won back a piece of herself that she thought Derek had taken forever. As sleep finally claimed her, Vanessa smiled. Tomorrow was the first day of their new life, and it was going to be beautiful. 6 months after the trial, Vanessa stood in the kitchen of her new house, watching Marcus play basketball in the backyard. The house wasn't a mansion. It wasn't $12 million with a movie theater and indoor pool. But it was theirs. A 4-bedroom colonial with a big yard, a porch swing, and enough space for the kids to grow. More importantly, it had soft grass where Marcus could play safely. No concrete to crack his head on if he had a seizure. Not that he'd had many seizures lately. The Epidiolex Plus had worked better than anyone expected. In 6 months, Marcus had only had 3 seizures, down from 3 or 4 per week. Dr. Patel called it miraculous. Vanessa called it answered prayers. Mom, did you see that? Marcus shouted from the yard. He'd just made a basket on the kid-size hoop Vanessa had installed. I'm gonna be like Dad someday. Vanessa smiled, though the comparison still stung a little. You're going to be like you, sweetheart. That's even better. Marcus grinned and went back to shooting. Lily sat at the kitchen table doing homework, her tongue poking out in concentration. She'd started 2nd grade at a new school, one with smaller classes and better resources. She loved it. "Mom, how do you spell beautiful?" Lily asked. "Sound it out first. What do you think?" "B-E-A-U. That doesn't look right." Vanessa came over and helped her spell it correctly. "Good try." "That's a tricky word." "Everything's tricky," Lily sighed dramatically. "Except math. Math is easy." "Then you're lucky. Math was always hard for me." Lily looked up with serious eyes. "Were you good at anything in school?" "Science. I loved learning about how the body works. That's why I became a nurse." "Are you still a nurse?" Vanessa hesitated. "Sort of. I'm taking classes right now to finish my degree. In a year, I'll be working at the hospital again." She'd enrolled at Northwestern, the same school where she'd met Derek a lifetime ago. Only this time, she wasn't a struggling student working 3 jobs. This time, she could focus completely on her studies. The settlement money sat mostly untouched in investment accounts for the children. Vanessa had kept just enough to pay off the house, cover living expenses for a few years, and pay for school. She didn't need Derek's millions to feel rich. She just needed her children healthy and happy. A car pulled into the driveway. Vanessa glanced out the window inside. Derek, it was his weekend with the kids. He'd been consistent about visitation lately, showing up on time, planning actual activities instead of parking them in front of the TV while he worked out or took phone calls. He was trying. Vanessa had to give him that. "Dad's here!" Lily jumped up, suddenly energized. She still loved her father despite everything. Kids were resilient that way. Marcus came running in from the backyard, sweaty and happy. "Is it already 4 o'clock?" "Yep, go get your overnight bag. It's by the stairs." The kids scrambled to gather their things. Vanessa went to answer the door. Derek stood on the porch looking uncomfortable. He always looked uncomfortable when he picked up the kids, like he wasn't sure if he was allowed to be there. "Hey," he said. "Hey, they're almost ready." An awkward silence stretched between them. 6 months ago, they'd barely been able to look at each other. Now they could at least be civil. It was progress. "How's Marcus doing?" Derek asked. "With the medication?" "Really well. Only 3 seizures in 6 months. Dr. Patel is thrilled." Relief flooded Derek's face. "That's great. That's really great." "Yeah, the trust fund you set up, it's making all the difference. So thank you for that." Derek looked at his feet. "I should have done it from the beginning. I was just, I don't know, stupid." "You were proud and scared. I get it." Derek met her eyes. "Do you?" "Because I don't think I'd be as understanding if our positions were reversed." Vanessa shrugged. "Being angry takes too much energy. I'd rather spend that energy on the kids." Before Derek could respond, Marcus and Lily came thundering down the stairs with their bags. "Dad!" Marcus crashed into Derek's legs. "I made 6 baskets today, in a row." Derek scooped him up, something he never would have done 6 months ago. "6? That's amazing, buddy. We'll have to practice some more this weekend." "Can we go to the arcade?" Lily asked. "Please?" Sarah from school said they got new games. "Sure. Arcade, then pizza. Sound good?" Both kids cheered. Vanessa helped them load into Derek's car. Not the flashy sports car he used to drive, but a sensible SUV with proper car seats. Another change. "I'll have them back Sunday at 6, Derek said. "Sounds good. Have fun, guys." Vanessa waved as they drove away. The house felt too quiet suddenly. Vanessa wandered through the rooms, adjusting pillows that didn't need adjusting, wiping counters that were already clean. This was the hard part of shared custody, the empty weekends, the silence. Her phone rang. Linda. "Hey, stranger," Linda said cheerfully. "Haven't heard from you in a while. How's everything?" "Good, really good, actually. Marcus is doing great on the medication. Lily loves her new school. Derek's been consistent with visitation." "And how are you?" Vanessa paused. "I'm okay, better than I was." "Just okay?" "It's weird, you know. I spent so long fighting to survive, fighting Derek, fighting for the kids. And now that the fight's over, I don't know what to do with myself." Linda was quiet for a moment. "You're grieving, not for Derek, but for who you used to be, for the life you thought you'd have. That's normal, Vanessa. When does it stop feeling so empty?" When you start filling it with new things, new dreams, new purposes. Linda paused. Actually, that's kind of why I called. I have a proposition for you. What kind of proposition? I've been asked to speak at a legal conference about family law and financial fraud. I want you to come with me. Share your story. Vanessa's stomach clenched. I don't know, Linda. I'm not good at public speaking. You don't have to be good. You just have to be honest. There are thousands of women in situations like yours, married to men who hide assets, who use money as control. Your story could help them find the courage to fight back. I'll think about it. That's all I ask. The conference is in 3 months. Let me know. After they hung up, Vanessa made herself dinner, just a simple salad and grilled chicken. She ate alone at the kitchen table, thinking about Linda's offer. Could she really stand in front of strangers and talk about the worst period of her life? About Derek's betrayal? About fighting in court while her son was sick? It seemed impossible, terrifying, but also maybe important. The next morning, Vanessa drove to Northwestern for her Saturday class, Advanced Anatomy and Physiology. She loved being back in school, loved learning again. Her professor, Dr. Kim, was a tiny Korean woman with a sharp mind and a sharper tongue. She didn't tolerate lazy thinking or half-hearted effort. Mrs. Montgomery, Dr. Kim said after class, "Can I speak with you?" Vanessa's stomach dropped. Had she done something wrong on the last exam? Your paper on pediatric neurology was exceptional, Dr. Kim said. Have you considered specializing in that field? I haven't really thought that far ahead. You should. You have a natural understanding of complex neurological conditions. And your section on epilepsy treatment protocols was particularly insightful. Dr. Kim gave her a rare smile. Personal experience? My son has Dravet syndrome. Ah, that explains it. You're not just studying from books, you're living it. Dr. Kim pulled out a business card. There's a pediatric neurology program at Children's Memorial. Very competitive, but I think you'd be an excellent candidate. Think about it. Vanessa took the card with shaking hands. Pediatric neurology, working with kids like Marcus. Helping families navigate the terrifying world of childhood epilepsy. It felt right, like a piece clicking into place. That afternoon, Vanessa met her mother for coffee. They sat in a quiet corner of their favorite cafe, catching up. You look different, Mom observed. Lighter somehow. I feel different, like I can finally breathe. Good. You've been holding your breath for too long, Mija. Her mother squeezed her hand. What's next for you? Vanessa told her about Linda's speaking invitation and Dr. Kim's suggestion about pediatric neurology. Her mother listened carefully, then smiled. You're going to do both, aren't you? Am I crazy? No, you're finally becoming who you were meant to be. Before Derek, before the divorce, before all the pain, there was a girl who wanted to help people. She's still in there. She's just been sleeping. Vanessa's eyes filled with tears. I'm scared, Mama. Of what? Of everything. Of speaking in public. Of going back to work. Of being alone. Of messing up the kids. Of... Her voice broke. Of never finding love again. There it was, the secret fear she'd been carrying for months. Her mother's expression softened. Oh, Mija, you're only 32 years old. You have so much life ahead of you. But what man would want me? A divorced single mother with 2 kids and a mountain of baggage. The right man, when you're ready. But Vanessa, listen to me. You don't need a man to complete you. You're already complete. You're already whole. Vanessa wiped her eyes. I know that. Intellectually, I know that. But sometimes you're lonely. I understand. But being alone is better than being with the wrong person. You learned that with Derek. They sat in comfortable silence for a while, sipping their coffee. Linda wants me to speak at a conference, Vanessa finally said, about financial fraud in divorce cases. Are you going to do it? I think so. It terrifies me, but maybe that means I should do it? Her mother laughed. That's exactly what it means. Sunday evening, Derek brought the kids home right on time. They tumbled out of the car full of stories about the arcade, pizza, and a movie they'd seen. We had the best time, Lily announced. Dad let us stay up late and eat popcorn in bed. Vanessa raised an eyebrow at Derek. He shrugged sheepishly. It's the weekend. I figured a little rule breaking was okay. As long as they brushed their teeth. We did. Dad made sure. Marcus hugged Vanessa tight. I missed you, Mom. I missed you too, baby. Did you have fun? Yeah, but I like being home better. After the kids went inside to unpack, Derek lingered on the porch. They really are doing great, he said. Marcus seems like a different kid. So much energy. The medication is working. He can actually be a normal 7-year-old now. Because of you. Because you fought for him when I wouldn't. Derek's voice was rough. I think about that a lot. About how I almost... He stopped, unable to finish. Don't, Vanessa said quietly. Don't torture yourself. You're doing better now. That's what matters. Am I? I still feel like I'm fumbling through this parenting thing. We're all fumbling. That's part of being a parent. Vanessa leaned against the porch railing. But Derek, you're showing up now. You're being present. The kids notice. That's huge. Derek was quiet for a moment. Sienna and I are getting divorced. Vanessa's head snapped up. What? We've been separated for 2 months. I didn't say anything because I didn't want it to affect the kids. What happened? Derek laughed bitterly. Turns out marrying someone because she made me feel young and exciting wasn't a great foundation for a marriage. We had nothing in common. She wanted the lifestyle, the parties, the fame. I wanted... He trailed off. What did you want? What I had with you. A real partnership. A family. Someone who knew me before the money and fame. He looked at Vanessa. I'm not saying this to try to get you back. I know I destroyed that. I just wanted you to know that I finally understand what I lost. Vanessa didn't know what to say. 6 months ago, hearing Derek admit this would have felt like vindication. Now it just felt sad. I hope you find what you're looking for, she finally said. But Derek, you need to work on yourself first. Figure out who you are without basketball, without women, without the fame. Just you. I know, I've actually started seeing a therapist. Really? Yeah, twice a week. It's hard, but helpful. He smiled slightly. She says I have abandonment issues from losing my parents. Apparently, I sabotage relationships before people can leave me. That makes sense. Yeah, wish I'd figured it out before I destroyed our marriage. Everything happens for a reason, Vanessa said, though she wasn't sure she believed it. Maybe we weren't meant to be together forever. Maybe we were just meant to create Lily and Marcus. Derek's eyes glistened. They're the best thing I ever did. The only thing I didn't screw up. You didn't do them alone. We made them together, and we're raising them together. Even if we're not together, that's enough. After Derek left, Vanessa went inside and helped the kids with their bedtime routine. Bath, pajamas, teeth brushing, story time. She read them Where the Wild Things Are, doing all the monster voices while they giggled. Mom? Marcus said as she tucked him in. Are you happy? The question surprised her. What makes you ask that? You smile more now, and you don't look worried all the time? Vanessa kissed his forehead. I am happy, sweetheart. Happier than I've been in a long time. Good, because when you're happy, I'm happy. After the kids were asleep, Vanessa sat on her porch swing with a cup of tea. The neighborhood was quiet. Stars dotted the sky above. She thought about the past 6 months. The trial, the settlement, the move, Marcus's improvement, going back to school, Derek's attempts at redemption. So much had changed. She'd changed. The scared, desperate woman who'd stood outside that courtroom was gone. In her place was someone stronger. Someone who'd fought impossible odds and won. Someone who was learning to be whole on her own. Vanessa pulled out her phone and texted Linda, I'll do it. I'll speak at your conference. Linda's response was immediate. Yes, you're going to be amazing. Then Vanessa pulled up Dr. Kim's email and wrote, I'm interested in the pediatric neurology program. Can we discuss the application process? 2 new paths, 2 new challenges, 2 ways to turn her pain into purpose. Vanessa looked up at the stars and smiled. The past 6 months had been about surviving, about healing, about learning to breathe again. The next 6 months would be about thriving, about building a life that was truly hers. Not defined by Derek, not limited by fear, not shaped by anyone's expectations, but her own. She'd been through fire. She'd been tested. She'd been broken. And she'd survived. More than survived. She'd won. Not just money, not just justice. She'd won herself back. And that, Vanessa realized as she rocked gently on the porch swing, was the greatest victory of all. The future stretched ahead, uncertain, yes, but also full of possibility, full of hope. Full of dreams she'd thought were dead but had just been sleeping. Marcus was healing. Lily was thriving. Derek was trying. And Vanessa? Vanessa was finally, truly living. She finished her tea and went inside, locking the door behind her. Tomorrow she'd wake up and study for her anatomy exam. She'd take the kids to school. She'd work on her speech for Linda's conference. She'd keep moving forward, one day at a time. Because that's what survivors do. That's what warriors do. That's what mothers do. And Vanessa Montgomery was all three. 3 months later, Vanessa stood backstage at the Chicago Convention Center, her hands trembling as she clutched her notes. In 5 minutes, she'd walk onto that stage and speak to 300 family law attorneys, judges, and advocates about financial fraud in divorce proceedings, about her story, about the darkest moments of her life. "You're going to do great," Linda said beside her, straightening Vanessa's collar. "Just speak from your heart. That's all you need to do." "What if I freeze? What if I start crying?" "Then you cry. Vanessa, these people aren't here to judge you. They're here to learn from you, to understand what their clients go through." A conference organizer appeared with a headset. "Mrs. Montgomery, you're on in 2 minutes." Vanessa's stomach churned. She'd thrown up twice this morning already. "I can't do this," she whispered. Linda gripped her shoulders firmly. "Yes, you can. You faced Derek's lawyers in court. You faced a judge who held your entire future in her hands. You can face a room of people who want to help others like you." Vanessa took a shaky breath. "Okay. Okay. And remember, Marcus and Lily are watching the live stream with your mom. Make them proud." That steadied her. Her children, everything she'd done had been for them. This was just one more step. The organizer motioned. "You're on." Vanessa walked onto the stage on wobbly legs. The lights were blinding. She couldn't see the audience, just a sea of darkness beyond the spotlights. She reached the podium and adjusted the microphone with shaking hands. "Good morning," she began, her voice barely audible. She cleared her throat and tried again. "Good morning. My name is Vanessa Montgomery, and 3 years ago, I thought I had the perfect life." The words started flowing, slowly at first, then faster. She told them about meeting Derek, about falling in love with a kind, humble basketball player who cried at their wedding, about building a life together, having twins, supporting his dreams. She told them about the affair, the lies, the divorce. "I signed a settlement for $4 million, Vanessa said. "My lawyer told me it was fair. I was exhausted and heartbroken, and I just wanted it to be over. So I signed." She paused, gripping the podium. 2 years later, my son developed a rare form of epilepsy. The treatment cost $300,000 a year. When I asked my ex-husband for help, he told me to manage my money better. He told me the settlement was supposed to cover situations like this. A murmur rippled through the audience. That's when I hired a forensic accountant. And that's when I discovered my ex-husband had hidden $50 million in offshore accounts and shell companies. $50 million that should have been part of our marital assets. $50 million he'd lied about during our divorce. Vanessa's voice grew stronger. "I was terrified to go back to court. The media called me a gold digger. Strangers sent me death threats. My daughter came home from school crying because kids were saying terrible things about me. But I couldn't stop, because my son needed medicine, because I'd been cheated, because it was wrong." She looked out at the darkness, imagining all those lawyers and judges listening. "I'm not telling you this story for sympathy. I'm telling you because somewhere in this room, one of you has a client going through the same thing. A woman or man who's being lied to by a spouse who's hiding assets. Someone who's too scared or tired or broken to fight back." Vanessa's hand stopped shaking. "I want you to know what to look for. I want you to know how to find hidden money. But more than that, I want you to believe your clients when they tell you something feels wrong. When they say their spouse is lying. Because they're probably right." She spent the next 20 minutes walking through the specifics. How Derek had used shell companies. How the forensic accountant found the offshore accounts. How Judge Chen had seen through the lies. The judge awarded me $22 million, Vanessa said, plus a medical trust for my son with no cap, renewable for life, plus triple child support and all educational expenses. Applause erupted. Vanessa blinked back tears. But the money wasn't the real victory, she continued when the room quieted. The real victory was getting my son the treatment he needs. It was teaching my children that standing up for yourself isn't selfish. It's necessary. It was proving to myself that I was stronger than I thought. Her voice cracked. It was learning that sometimes the bravest thing you can do is ask for help, is refuse to accept unfairness, is fight even when everyone tells you to give up. Vanessa looked down at her notes, then pushed them aside. To the attorneys in this room, thank you for doing this work, for fighting for people who can't fight for themselves, for seeing us as human beings, not just case numbers. She paused. And to anyone watching this who's in a situation like I was, you are not alone. You are not greedy for wanting what's fair. You are not vindictive for demanding honesty. You are not a bad person for protecting yourself and your children. Tears streamed down Vanessa's face now. You are brave. You are strong. And you deserve justice. The room exploded in applause. People stood. Vanessa saw some wiping their eyes. She left the stage in a daze, her legs barely holding her up. Linda caught her in the wings. You were perfect. Absolutely perfect. I cried. Who cares? You were real. That's what mattered. The rest of the day blurred. Lawyers approached Vanessa during breaks, thanking her for sharing her story. Some told her about similar cases they were working on. Others asked for advice. One woman, maybe 45 with tired eyes, grabbed Vanessa's hand. My client's husband is an executive at a Fortune 500 company. She knows he's hiding money but can't prove it. Can I get your forensic accountant's contact information? Of course. Vanessa wrote down Sarah Chen's number. Tell her I sent you. She'll help. By the time the conference ended, Vanessa was exhausted but exhilarated. She'd done it. She'd turned her pain into something useful. Linda drove her home. You know you're going to get more speaking requests after this, right? Your story is powerful. I don't know if I can keep doing this. It's hard reliving everything. Think about it. No pressure. Linda pulled into Vanessa's driveway. But Vanessa, you have a gift for making people understand. Don't waste that. Inside, Marcus and Lily ambushed her at the door. Mom, we saw you on the computer, Marcus yelled. You were so brave. Lily hugged her tight. You made me cry. But happy crying. Vanessa's mother appeared from the kitchen, her eyes red. Mija, I'm so proud of you. Your father would be too. That night after the kids were in bed, Vanessa checked her phone. Dozens of messages and emails. One stood out, from Dr. Kim. I watched your speech. You need to apply to that pediatric neurology program. Now, you'll change lives, Mrs. Montgomery. Another from Michael Jordan. Saw your conference speech online. Powerful stuff. You're teaching people what real strength looks like. Keep going. And one from an unknown number. Mrs. Montgomery, my name is Rachel Chen. I'm going through a divorce like yours. My husband is hiding money, and I was about to give up. After watching your speech, I'm going to fight. Thank you for giving me courage. Vanessa read that last message 3 times. Tears streaming down her face. This was why she'd done it. This was why the pain had been worth it. The next morning, Vanessa drove to Children's Memorial Hospital for a tour of the pediatric neurology department. Dr. Patel had arranged it, knowing she was considering the program. The unit was bright and cheerful, decorated with murals of animals and superheroes. Kids with various neurological conditions played in a common room while their parents watched nearby. This is where the magic happens, Dr. Patel said, showing her the treatment rooms. We have kids with epilepsy, cerebral palsy, brain tumors, developmental delays. Every single one is fighting their own battle. Vanessa watched a little girl, maybe 5 years old, working with a physical therapist. The girl's movements were jerky and uncoordinated, but she was trying so hard. Her mother sat nearby, encouraging every small success. That could have been me and Marcus, Vanessa whispered. But it's not, because you fought for him. Now you can help other mothers fight for their children. Later that day, Vanessa submitted her application to the Pediatric Neurology Nursing Program. It was a 2-year commitment, intense study, clinical rotations, specialized training, but it felt right, like coming home. That weekend, Derek picked up the kids for his visitation. He looked different somehow, lighter. "How's the therapy going?" Vanessa asked. "Good, really good actually. I'm learning a lot about myself. Not all of it is comfortable, but it's necessary." He paused. "I saw your conference speech. Someone posted it on social media." Vanessa tensed. And I'm sorry, again. I know I've said it before, but watching you talk about what I put you through," his voice broke. "I'm ashamed, Van, of the man I was, of what I did to you and the kids. You're doing better now. That's what matters." "Am I doing better? Or am I just going through the motions?" Vanessa looked at him carefully. "What do you mean?" "I mean, I show up for visitation. I pay the child support. I set up the trust fund. But am I actually being a good father? Or am I just checking boxes to assuage my guilt?" It was the most self-aware thing Vanessa had heard Derek say in years. "Only you can answer that," she said quietly. "But Derek, good fathers question themselves. Bad fathers never do." He nodded slowly. "I want to be better. For them. I don't want Marcus and Lily to grow up and realize their dad was a selfish asshole who only cared about himself. Then don't be that person. Choose every day to be better." After Derek left with the kids, Vanessa went for a walk in her neighborhood. The late afternoon sun was warm, the trees just starting to show autumn colors. She thought about the past year, the trial, the victory, Marcus's recovery, going back to school, speaking at the conference. She thought about the woman she'd been when Derek first asked for a divorce. Broken, terrified, convinced she'd never survive. And she thought about the woman she was now. Stronger, braver, whole. Her phone rang, an unknown number. Vanessa almost didn't answer, but something made her pick up. "Is this Vanessa Montgomery?" A woman's voice, professional but warm. "Yes? My name is Dr. Sarah Williams. I'm the head of the Pediatric Neurology Program at Children's Memorial. I wanted to call you personally about your application." Vanessa's heart raced. "Oh, okay. Mrs. Montgomery, we receive hundreds of applications every year. We accept maybe 20. Your academic record is strong, your references are glowing, but honestly?" Dr. Williams paused. "What really stood out was your essay and your conference speech, which I watched online. You understand these families on a level most nurses never will. You've lived it." "Thank you. That means I'm calling to offer you a spot in our program, starting in January." Vanessa stopped walking. "What? Really?" "Really, if you want it." "I want it. Yes. Absolutely yes." Dr. Williams laughed. "Excellent. I'll send you the enrollment information. Welcome to Children's Memorial, Mrs. Montgomery. I think you're going to do incredible things here." After they hung up, Vanessa stood in the middle of the sidewalk, tears streaming down her face. A neighbor walking her dog gave her a concerned look. "I'm okay," Vanessa called out, laughing through her tears. "I'm better than okay." She called her mother first, then Linda, then Dr. Patel. Everyone was thrilled, proud, not surprised at all. "I always knew you'd do something amazing," her mother said. "You just needed to believe in yourself." That evening, when Derek brought the kids home, Vanessa told them the news. "I'm going to go back to school to become a special kind of nurse," she explained. "I'll work with kids who have problems like Marcus's seizures." "Will you be my nurse?" Marcus asked. "Maybe someday if you need me. But hopefully the medicine keeps working so well that you don't need a special nurse." Lily frowned. "Does this mean you'll be busy, like Dad used to be?" The question hit Vanessa hard. She knelt down to Lily's level. "I'll be busy sometimes, yes. I'll have classes and studying, and eventually I'll work at the hospital. But I will never be too busy for you and Marcus. Never. You two come first. Always. Promise?" Lily's voice was small. "I promise. And you know Mommy keeps her promises." That night, after tucking the kids into bed, Vanessa sat on her porch swing with a glass of wine. The neighborhood was quiet except for crickets chirping and the distant sound of traffic. She thought about promises, about the ones Derek had broken and the ones she'd kept. She thought about the promise she'd made to Marcus in that courtroom, that she'd fight for him, always. She'd kept that promise. She thought about the promise she'd made to herself, that she'd survive this somehow. She'd kept that promise too. And now she was making a new promise. To herself, to her children, to all the families she'd help in the future. She promised to use her pain for good, to turn her tragedy into purpose, to help others navigate the same dark waters she'd barely survived. She promised to keep growing, keep healing, keep becoming the person she was meant to be. She promised to never again let anyone make her feel small or worthless, or like she didn't deserve fairness and respect. She promised to teach her children those same lessons, to raise them to be brave and kind, and to stand up for what's right, even when it's hard. Vanessa looked up at the stars, the same stars she'd looked at a year ago when her world was falling apart. Back then, she couldn't have imagined this moment, couldn't have imagined peace, happiness, hope. But here she was, healed, whole, free. Her phone buzzed, a text from an unknown number. "Mrs. Montgomery, I'm the woman whose husband was hiding assets. Because of your speech, I found a lawyer who believes me. We found $8 million he tried to hide. I'm getting my fair share. Thank you for giving me courage. Rachel." Vanessa read the message through tears. This was why everything had happened, why she'd suffered, why she'd fought, so she could help others find their own strength. She typed back, "You found the courage yourself. I just reminded you it was there. Be proud of yourself. Your children are lucky to have you." Vanessa finished her wine and went inside. Tomorrow she'd start preparing for the nursing program. She'd study, she'd work hard, she'd build the life she'd always dreamed of. But tonight she'd just be grateful. Grateful for her children's health, for the roof over their heads, for the opportunity to start over. Grateful for the strength she discovered in her darkest moments. Grateful for Judge Patricia Chen, who'd seen through Derek's lies and given Vanessa justice. Grateful for Linda and Michael Jordan and her mother and Dr. Patel and everyone who'd believed in her when she couldn't believe in herself. But most of all, grateful for the woman she'd become. A survivor, a warrior, a mother who'd moved mountains for her children. Vanessa Montgomery had stood in that courtroom 6 months ago, terrified and desperate, waiting for a judge's decision that would change everything. She'd asked for fairness, for justice, for help. And Judge Chen had given her more than she'd dared to hope for. Not just money, not just vindication, but a chance, a fresh start, a future. And Vanessa had taken that chance and built something beautiful from the ashes of her broken marriage. She turned her pain into purpose, her suffering into strength, her tears into triumph. As she climbed into bed that night, Vanessa smiled. The past was behind her. The future stretched ahead, full of possibility. And for the first time in years, Vanessa Montgomery wasn't just surviving. She was thriving. She was free. She was exactly who she was meant to be. And that, she realized as sleep claimed her, was the greatest victory of all. Not the money in the bank. Not the judge's ruling. Not Derek's apology. But this: peace, contentment, joy. The knowledge that she'd fought the hardest battle of her life and emerged not just intact, but transformed. Stronger, braver, better. And tomorrow, when the sun rose on her new life, Vanessa would greet it with open arms and a grateful heart. Because she'd learned the most important lesson of all: you can lose everything. Your marriage, your money, your dreams, and still find yourself. You can be broken into a million pieces and still put yourself back together. You can face impossible odds and still win. If you're brave enough to fight, if you're strong enough to stand, if you're determined enough to never, ever give up. Vanessa Montgomery had done all three, and her story, her fight, her victory, her transformation, would inspire countless others to do the same. That was her legacy, not the settlement, not the headlines, not even the medical trust that saved Marcus's life, but this: proof that mothers will move heaven and earth for their children, Proof that justice, though delayed, is still justice. Proof that sometimes the judge's final response isn't what you expect. It's better. And proof that tears in a courtroom can be tears of joy, of relief, of vindication. Tears that wash away the past and water the seeds of a better future. Vanessa had cried those tears 6 months ago. Now finally she was ready to bloom. So where are you listening from? Drop your city or country in the comments below. We love hearing from our amazing viewers around the world. If this story touched your heart, please hit that like button and subscribe to our channel. By subscribing, you help us spread kindness and share stories that inspire people to never give up, no matter how hard life gets. And don't go anywhere yet. Click on the video appearing on your screen right now for another incredible true story that will move you. Thanks for watching, and remember, you're stronger than you think.